Hi, Andy here again, and I just wanted to talk about something that can really improve your writing, and maybe it's one of the things that can improve it the most, at least in my opinion anyway. I've always been writing ever since I was a little kid and was terrible at spelling, and it went so far that I needed a teacher's aid to actually help me when it came to composing words in English.
Oh, miss, is this how you spell necessarily?
No, Andy, that's not correct. You're not necessarily very good at spelling, are you?
Oh, okay, miss.
And while my spelling maybe hasn't reached the heights of what my teachers had wanted, my fictional writing and my storytelling definitely did. And there's two kind of key components to why that happened. The first is obviously practice. Even now I don't write near enough what I want to every day to kind of get to the point where I want to go. But the second point, and the kind of purpose of this particular video, is something that I think is super crucial to becoming a better writer, especially if you want to write stories and fiction. I'm someone who writes because I want to be read. And when I want to be read, I mean I want to be understood, and I want whatever emotion or aim that I'm trying to go with the story, whether it be a journalistic article or some piece of fiction, to really hit the points that I'm hoping it to hit. And the only way I know it will do that really is by having readers read it and give their feedback. Now I've done, been in many writing courses. I used to work in journalism and communications where, your words get torn to shreds and rebuilt a lot of the time. So I'm very used to criticism and people telling me what they think does or does not work about a piece of writing I've done. Not everyone's going to give you, obviously, the best advice. And I think the golden rule here is just, if you hear that criticism more than 2 or 3 times, that generally means that that's an issue with your writing or a story. I read that story, you emailed me, and look, I think it's pretty good, but on page 10, when the character starts talking about how his mother died, I just didn't like it. So what was it about the character's line that didn't quite gel for you? I just didn't like the way the character said the words. The words were fine, written down as they were. I just didn't like the way the character said them. In my experience, this process of having people read my work and then giving me their feedback has made my writing 10, 20, 50 times more understood and interesting. Obviously, the more I write, I like to think the better I'm getting at those first drafts. But it is amazing to me that when I start writing, I usually get caught in a bit of the funk of trying to get the story out. And this can be a bit of a rough kind of process that kind of almost feels like, getting blood from a stone, that old cliche, but it sometimes definitely does feel that way. And you're just kind of busy trying to get it out rather than maybe think about, is this being understood to anyone but me? So when I have sessions with people that talk about my stories and give helpful advices about how a sentence could be more clear, or why did that character do that? Did I foreshadow it? Did people know it was coming, or was it in character, or was that the point? You have to justify these things when people come at you with their criticisms and feedback. And if you kind of can't justify them in many ways and just say, well, that's just what they've done, I don't necessarily think that's the best solution, and it's not necessarily going to make your story a good one or a strong one. So I'm just trying to understand, why did that character push the hero into the lava pit? Well, she did it because she wanted to. Okay, but she was the hero's lover, and up until that point you hadn't really established that she could be a villain, or that, her good intentions were cast in doubt. Yeah, I know. It's a surprise. People love surprises in stories. Okay, a surprise. Yeah, sure. But then the story ends quite abruptly and there's no explanation, or there's, no reasoning for why she did what she did. People just do things sometimes, random, like life. It's a metaphor. That's part of the process, and that is part of getting better and understanding how your stories or your writing is appealing to other people. And I think it's really a crucial step if you really want to be, writing well, to get out there and do it and show your work.